Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, if you are listening to the sound of my voice, then you are tuned in for another episode of Marking Out Amongst Friends. This is your boy, Jay Rich, aka Jay Ritty, in the building. Also in the building, I have the lovely Lady Great One, my friend Toya, in the building. And we are going to recap what was a huge weekend of wrestling in WWE this weekend, take over New Orleans and WrestleMania. Um, to start off, we're going to go ahead and speak on some of these matches. Of course, NXT always, always great, never disappoints. And to start off with, I just want to say that I didn't get to catch the show originally on here, but when I did catch up a few hours after everyone else, I just have to say before I go into the recap, epic pay-per-view. Once again, they never disappoint. The match that started off everything, first that we're going to get into, is for the North American Championship, the debut of a new title. We had the debut of Ricochet, the debut of EC3, and we had the Velveteen Dream, Lars Sullivan. We had Adam Cole, baby. And we also had, I'm missing somebody here.
Killian Dain, sir.
Killian Dain. Okay. So, Toya, how did you feel about this match? I thought that this was a great match to start off with, but we'll first get some of your opinion. What were some of the best points of this match?
I have to say that they took it to the limit. This match was all over the place. There were bodies flying everywhere. Lars Sullivan and Killian Dain pretty much just going back and forth like, hey, anything you can do, I can do better. That was pretty awesome. Ricochet showing his high flying ability at every opportunity. Everybody showed out in this match. EC3 had a great debut as well. So, I mean, this match, bodies flying everywhere. It was just so good. I'm glad that Adam Cole did win. And that was my pick also, by the way.
Well, I did not pick Adam Cole. I'll be the first to admit I did not see Adam Cole winning this match. I definitely went with Velveteen. And even though Velveteen did not pull it away, I think that he definitely showed off. It's all when you watch Velveteen and you see Patrick Clark from, Tough Enough, and you're thinking at this point in time that, he's young, he's 22. You can't imagine that he's that good. And when you actually see him in the ring and see how good he really is, you just can't help but wonder what the future is going to hold for Velveteen. Beautiful Death Valley driver, cartwheel off the top rope into the ladder. Wonderful spot. I mean, he was just putting his body on the line out there. Like you said, Killian Dain, Lars Sullivan, the anything you can do, I can do better, the back and forth of the big guys. Lars getting heavy heat, heavy booze throughout the match. You can tell he's not anybody's favorite, but he did very well in the match. EC3, I don't want to sound like a hater, but I'm not really a big EC3 fan. I mean, I think that I'm glad that he's there, and I'm wanting to see what they're going to do with him in the future. But I'm not a huge EC3 fan. Like you said, it was a great way to start the show. Epic match. Definitely happy that Adam Cole won, and I think this just adds fuel to the fire of the Undisputed Era, and I definitely think that he definitely shocked the system in this match. Next match on the card, we ended up having the singles NXT Women's title match with Ember Moon versus Shayna Baszler. This was not my favorite match on the card. I really thought that this was really just an okay kind of match. It was some decent back and forth, a lot of submission holds going on. Ember definitely hit a great spot with the clips outside the ring. On the inside of the ring, she hit a good reversal into a powerbomb on Shayna Baszler. Ultimately, we knew that we were going to see Ember Moon lose this match, and Shayna Baszler was going to take this title. I don't really have a lot of faith in Shayna Baszler as the NXT Women's Champion. I'm more so kind of waiting until we end up seeing Kairi Sane move into that portion, or even if they keep them on NXT, even Zelina Vega at some point in time jumping into the mix would be great. I definitely can't wait to see what she can do if she ever has to hold her own, so to speak.
Well, with this match for me, I thought it was a great showing for Shayna. She showed her resiliency, her tenacity there, and she really, really put on like some good power on display. Shayna really did like made me like, okay, it's believable now. Like she actually has worked really, really hard, and you can see it. Of course, Ember, I think, did an awesome job on this one. No, it was not my favorite match of the night. I will have to agree on you there. And it did kind of drag at certain times, but, with the ground and pound thing, but that's what Shayna is good for. She is an MMA fighter. She is a submission wrestler. She's going a good showing back and forth between the two, in my opinion, even though it was a little slow. It was not my favorite match again. And overall, on this match, the right woman won, and the right woman got the call up. So, hey, I can't complain.
Absolutely, I can totally agree there. Ember was destined to go to the main roster after that NXT title win. It was only a matter of time, and I think everybody knew that this was going to be the last NXT match they would see her in. Next matchup on the card, we ended up having a triple threat tag team match for the NXT tag team titles. We had the champions, the Undisputed Era. We had Kyle O'Reilly. Usually we would have Bobby Fish. Bobby Fish, as we know, is out with injury, so he was replaced by Adam Cole, who had already won a title match, a ladder match for the debuting title earlier in the show. So it was kind of interesting to see how much they were going to use him in the match. One thing that I don't hear a lot of people talking about in this match is Kyle O'Reilly really held his own on his own a lot during that matchup, to the point where it almost looks like he could really be a single star on his own. But I would not want to see the Undisputed Era break up, specifically O'Reilly and Fish. This match had a lot of spots going on. Of course, watching Pete Dunne, another one, just like I was mentioning Velveteen earlier. You look at him, you can't believe he's 24 and he's this good, and you just can't help but to wonder down the line how great he's going to be. The Authors of Pain did what the Authors of Pain came to do. In the end, the thing that one of the best spots of the show to me was Pete Dunne hitting his finisher. Ref goes for the count. 1, 2, boom. Roderick Strong comes out of nowhere and turns his back on Pete Dunne and joins the Undisputed Era. Who saw that coming in this match? I did not at all. Roderick Strong is just like one of those guys to where he's the lovable guy. He's the good guy. I would not expect him to be the heel, in this match. And he turned on everybody. It was a great turn, great way to book that move.
Well, I actually did not see it coming myself. That was definitely one of the biggest words of the night, with him just coming out of nowhere. Because obviously I did get my prediction only halfway, because yes, I did pick Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne to win. But of course, like with Roderick Strong turning his back, I guess I could count that kind of as a W in my corner. No? Can I?
You don't get No.
No, I don't get it. Okay. No. Hey, it was worth a shot.
You tried.
I tried. But I figured the Authors of Pain were not going to win, because they did receive that beautiful call up to Raw. And yes, they did shock the system. The Undisputed Era shocked the system, and they're all gold. And I think that is actually a good move for Roderick Strong to join the Undisputed Era. I think that he was the missing component Now it's just them versus the world, baby.
I'm interested to see if they're going to keep it as a full faction throughout the time frame that Bobby Fish is hurt. So I can't remember other than when Sanity first debuted. I can't think of a 4-man group in NXT in quite some time. 4 strong, superstars in one group in NXT. That's a real power move right now. There. Next match, we had the NXT Championship match. A lot of people, well, not even a lot of people, it's really surprising to know who they were, dancing second fiddle to, but a lot of people were expecting, because it's the title of the show, that it would be the main event. But this was the match before the main event. We had Aleister Black versus Andrade Cien Almas with the beautiful, lovely Zelina Vega. Let me get back to the match really quick. I almost lost track there. This match, as always with any match that I see Aleister Black handed, the strikes were vicious. I mean, the back and forth in this match, the running double knees in the corner to the running double knees on the apron in the corner, a lot of strong, stiff elbows, a lot of Andre coming off the top rope or coming off of something and getting hit with a knee out of nowhere. It was a lot of near falls in this match. I think that this was, if I wanted to rate this match between 1 to 5, I have to say this is very, very close to a 5. If you can't give it a 5, I would have to say at least it's a 4.5. And just to know that at the start of when Marking Out Amongst Friends started and we would talk about Aleister Black and we knew that he was a future champion, to actually see it come into fruition was just amazing last night or this weekend when watching the show. I'm very happy for him. It makes me wonder if Cien Almas is going to get a rematch or is he going to get a call-up? Things that make you go, so to speak. How did you feel about that match?
That, my friend, was incredible. I mean, Cien Almas was pulling out all the stops. I mean, he was one step ahead of Aleister Black for most of the match, and it was really, really, really good. So I would definitely say that this was an easy 4.5, maybe 4.75, if not a 5. It's somewhere in that range. You cannot go any lower than a 4.5 to me. Aleister Black was just incredible. Zelina Vega, she did her thing. She kept trying to cheat. She got away with a few moves, but she got a little greedy. And that's what ended up costing him the match. She went to the well one too many times. It worked the first 2 times, but the third time was not the charm. Third time she got caught. So,
as well, she got caught, and in the end, Cien Almas, just like everyone else, faded to black.
You took the words right out of my mouth there, sir.
I'm sorry. I felt the fade to black coming. I wanted to be the one that said it. I apologize. I stole your spot there. But I felt it coming. I really love Zelina Vega. Not just because she's amazingly beautiful and that she has a great Hurricane Rana, but I think that a lot of people underestimate and that a lot of people don't value a good valet out there. And I think she's a true good old school valet. I think it's a dying breed. You don't really see a lot of valets around other than your Paul Heyman or, your really Zelina Vega now, because the Authors of Pain debuted and, they lose their valet as well. So it's really just Zelina Vega and Paul Heyman.
And Rusev. You can't forget Rusev there, because Aiden English is basically a valet. And then you got Sunil Singh, who is basically the modern day Maharaja's valet. Lana was valeting for Tamina, but yeah, I'm just telling you the valets that are currently out there that you failed to mention. However, Zelina Vega, I think, has done some of the most, besides Paul Heyman, of course.
Yeah, I don't like to count Sunir just because, A, He's part of a team that one guy is out right now. Second, I mean, they're really just out there to get thrown around most of the time. So I don't really see them as great valets. Um, but yeah, I think that a lot of the Paul Heyman, Selena Vega types need to emerge. And I think that a lot of the guys that don't do well in talking would definitely benefit, i.e., Mr. Joseph Anoa, so to speak. You didn't think we were going to be able to get through a whole segment without talking about Roman, right?
Of course, I knew it was coming sooner or later. So I'm already prepared. I'm over it. I mean, I know that's what you're going to do every week because I love him. So it is what it is. I've come to terms with that.
All right. So for the main event for this match, or for this pay-per-view, we ended up getting Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa in an unsanctioned match in the main event. And this match, another one that did not disappoint. Now, while there was a lot of spots in this match too, what I really loved about this was it showed how cold and calculating and how crafty Tommaso Ciampa is. He just had that sadistic look throughout the match. This match, everybody was so emotionally invested into this match. I kid you not. Tommaso Ciampa did a basic back suplex in this match and got an O, and people cheered from the crowd for a back suplex, people, a back suplex. If you think I'm lying, go back and watch this main event again and watch it. About 10, 15 minutes into the match, he drops a back suplex, and everybody's like, oh, and clapping their hands for it. It was so, this match had me on the edge of my seat. I was definitely surprised to see Gargano come out on top. I just knew that we were going to see Gargano leave and go to, SmackDown or 205 Live. But Gargano wins and is going to get reinstated to NXT now. So it makes me wonder, what do we see in the future? Do we see another match between these two? Do we see Gargano versus Black for the NXT title in the future? It's a lot of different ways that this match has opened up just by Gargano winning and staying on NXT.
Well, you can go and you can run it back and rewind the tape. And if you notice, I was the only one who picked Johnny Gargano. And I was right on that. So definitely, I knew that one was coming, mainly because of the fact that Miss Candice LeRae is there. So they're not trying to split up the husband and wife team, especially when she just signed. However, nobody in the WWE, not even Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar himself, got as much heat as Tommaso Ciampa did.
Oh my God.
And has drew from the depths of hell itself and pulled out the devil's fire for heat. That was ridiculous. I have never, ever in my 35 years of life seen anybody just get that much anger towards them. Not even Marie had that much heat, and she was full of heat. She was hot. She dyed her head fire red.
She was hot.
Draw that heat.
But yeah, it was a moment to see him come out to no music, stand on the turnbuckle and just absorb all of the boos, all of the chants. You get "you're an asshole," you get "F you, Ciampa." NXT is just so raw and straight to the point. I just love NXT. Never disappoints at all. And I was certainly happy with that pay-per-view. With the last two matches and with the beginning match, if I wanted to rate the whole show, if we're going to do a 10, I'm going to rate the show probably a 9. And that's more than likely just because of the women's match. The tag team match wasn't really a great match. It was probably about a 3.5 or a 4. But what put it over the top was the turn of Roderick Strong is what really made that match to me.
Um, I can agree with you a lot of what you said there. For me, I'm gonna give the whole pay-per-view. Um, I really want to give it about an 8.75 to a 9. Yeah, I'll go ahead and call it a 9. Um, yeah, the women's match, it did kind of take it down just a little bit. That was about a 2.5 to a 3. Um, the tag team match was a 3.75. Um, the last two matches combined, I mean, like you got 4.5 and then you have a 5. So that, and then also the opener that started the whole thing off. So definitely a solid 9. I can agree with you there.
Absolutely. So with NXT, it's left open the door for a lot of things in the championship division there. Debuted a new title. So expect over the next couple of weeks to be a lot of new storylines that are going to develop and possibly something that can take you right into the next takeover. So other than NXT, we all know everybody loves NXT, every pay-per-view, but just like every show, it's time for us to go to the main roster. WrestleMania, Mania weekend, WrestleMania, which one was this, 34? 34, WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans. 13 matches on this show. I'm not really going to go into specific detail on each match per se. I'm really just going to kind of give a run through of my highs and lows. I think the pay-per-view as a whole was on its way to a really high rating up until probably the last hour of that show. I think that they wanted to follow suit with NXT by, as the professor said earlier this week, that they were trying to front load the show to match NXT's intensity. The pre-show matches, of course, I called Matt Hardy winning that one. I didn't think that they had anywhere else to go with that match, so of course I thought Matt Hardy would win. Cedric Alexander, of course, we got to see him finally win the Cruiserweight Championship. Naomi wins the Women's Battle Royal.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off there, but before we just completely grazed over the WrestleMania Women's Championship or Battle Royal, sorry, not championship, but Naomi, I did want to bring this up just because it's something that's kind of personal and near and dear to my heart. She has been getting bashed as of late, even more so than usual because of the fact that she is African American, but she handled it so gracefully. I mean, she's been facing a lot of racist tweets and everything, and she has been handling it, and she's been doing her thing. And I'm glad that they let her win. I mean, a lot of people thought for sure that Bayley was going to win. And as soon as I saw Bayley start to celebrate, I was like, no, you forgot about Naomi. Naomi never got eliminated. She went through the middle. She never got eliminated. Lo and behold, it happened. And I just want to say she really took that gracefully, and she's been taking a lot of the heat gracefully. And I just want to say bravo, Naomi.
Absolutely. That was definitely history making. What I was going to say with her is, even though it was on the pre-show and a lot of people weren't as invested into it because it was so early in the show, this is history. She is now the first inaugural Women's Battle Royal, WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal winner. So that means as long as this match goes, no matter who else wins this in the future, Naomi can always say she's the first. And that is definitely something to be said for history there. So for the main roster show, they opened up the show with Seth Rollins, The Miz, and Finn Balor in a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. I think that match is a really good match. We get Seth Rollins coming out with the victory in that one. One of my favorite matches on the show. I think that a lot of people don't expect to have a good match when The Miz is involved. But I think that was a really good match. Seth Rollins, once again, coming out the victor there. The best match on the show for me, and this is up to debate for anybody now or the future, was Charlotte versus Asuka. being that this match wasn't really a long match, and I think it only went like 12 or 13 minutes. But I definitely on last week's show on predictions called Charlotte beating Asuka in a clean victory. I think that they needed to go that route just to knock Asuka down a couple of pegs, but to allow her to grow. And I'm definitely glad that we got to see Charlotte win that match. And the embrace after really made it worth it as well. Fatal four-way match for the United States title. Jinder Mahal wins this one. I think that a lot of people expected Rusev to come away with that one. Jinder Mahal was more so of a curveball. Hey, I'm not personally mad at it, but hey, it's whatever. Kurt Angle, Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey had a good debut. Of course, they won. Bludgeon Brothers coming away with the tag titles. I wasn't happy with the match. It was very short. But I am kind of interested to see what the Bludgeon Brothers are going to do in the future as champs. Of course, we ended up getting the John Cena versus Undertaker match. It was not on the card until the pay-per-view happened, so we didn't do predictions on that one. Very surprising to see John Cena take a loss in less than 3 minutes to anybody. But if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be the Undertaker. Once again, the show is still going well for me at that point in time. Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon defeating Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I was just more happy to see Daniel Bryan come back. Next match, Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax. I love that match as well. Just loving the fact that Nia Jax is finally champion. And where the pay-per-view fell off for me, so to speak, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, I feel like it didn't live up to the hype. Styles wins it. We get a heel turn from Shinsuke at the end of the match. Braun picks a 10-year-old out the crowd, becomes tag team champions for a night, and defeats the Bar. And then, of course, we have the worst match probably in WrestleMania history that occurred in the main event with Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns in the battle of who can do the most finishers and kick out in this match. Brock comes away with a surprising win. Overall, for this pay-per-view, personally, I gave this pay-per-view out of 10. I gave this pay-per-view a 6, and I feel like I was being very generous on that rating based off of the good matches that did occur and off the fact that I was surprised at a WrestleMania to see John Cena lose in less than 3 minutes. But that last hour really kind of soured the whole show, especially that main event. Toya, if you want to highlight any of the matches that you thought were good here, what are some of the better matches you thought on the show, and what's your rating of the show?
Well, I have to agree with you again tonight. It seems like we're both having the same sort of mindset. So, yay for me, I guess. Yay for you for thinking like me. But with this one, yes, I was completely surprised that Seth did come away with the victory. I completely saw Seth going to SmackDown in this shakeup. That's what I was really hoping was going to happen, but that may not necessarily be the case now. But then again, it just might. We don't know. It's still a little too early to think about that, but that's a different subject. Yes, Charlotte defeating Asuka for the streak. I'm glad that Charlotte was the one to do it. I'm glad that they took the ceiling off of Asuka. And now she can actually go and explore and like have some other really good feuds and get invested with other superstars now that the monkey is off of her back, so to speak, with the streak and everybody's trying to defeat the streak. Now we can really see what she can do. But Charlotte, she had a great showing and she made her tap, and it was a really, really good match overall. And I'm glad that Charlotte was the one to beat the streak. Next of all, Ronda Rousey started off kind of botchy there and did a couple of times she messed up, but I will say this, I was pleasantly surprised at the end. She pulled it off. The longer she was in the ring, the more comfortable she got, the better she looked. And besides the fact of her having to keep on fixing her wardrobe, I think that was a little bit of an issue towards her right there. Kept having to pull down the trunks and stuff. So maybe she'll get a different outfit or something that'll help her to not have to keep focusing on that to deliver a clean, smooth transition there. But otherwise, she did really, really, really well. To me, was not expecting the Undertaker either. Cena getting buried in 2.5 minutes was kind of like, okay, it happened. I'm here. I'm gone. That's it. I'm done. All right, leave me alone. It's kind of what it was. So Braun picking a kid out of the crowd. Nicholas just became the youngest person ever to win a title. And I don't think that streak's going to be broken for an extremely long time unless King Maxwell takes it here in the next week. He's going to get a pin or something over somebody. So I believe King Maxwell will be the one to take that title off of Nicholas. But it may not be for a couple more years, though. And last but not least, you're right. The last hour drug. Was not really impressed much with the Bludgeon Brothers and Usos and New Day. They waited all this time. I'm sorry, I did miss this one in my order, but they waited all this time to finally let the New Day and the Usos have a match together on the main card with the Bludgeon Brothers. And this match lasted, what? I don't know, like 7 minutes at best. It was kind of a snooze fest starting there, in my opinion. That's where it started to go a little bit downhill. Yeah, the Bludgeons did take it, and yes, New Day Usos got their WrestleMania moment, but I've seen so much better from both of the other teams that when they introduced in the Bludgeon Brothers, it kind of took it down a notch from the beginning for me anyway. But not saying that I don't like the Bludgeon Brothers, because that's not what I'm saying at all. But it just took away the shine from a feud that we have seen for over so many years, and they were trying to dip back into that well. And I think it was just too little, too late with them trying to catch in on that cash cow. But Brock, Roman, boring, extremely boring. I hate Brock Lesnar, and I'm done.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that main event was a shitstorm. I don't know if I can say shitstorm, but yeah, it was a shitstorm.
Well, you just said it twice. Oh, 3 times. There you go. It's a shit. I'll agree with you. It was a shit show.
Oh my goodness. It was the obvious blading job in that match, the repeated spears and F5s and suplexes, and I this got to be like a world record for like the longest match with the smallest amount of moves done in a match. I don't think that the total amount of maneuvers that were made in this match topped 5. I think we maybe had 5 total moves in this match. And for a match that went 16 minutes and we had a fake blading going on in that match, that was just horrible. I do not ever, in the history of ever, and I know we're going to have it at this next greatest Royal Rumble pay-per-view, when I tell you after that match is over, I do not ever want to see Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns have a match ever again. Not to the fact of just that Roman isn't the best wrestler, because I think Roman is an okay wrestler, in my opinion. I'm not going to sit here and bash him like we usually do. But when you mix Roman's style of wrestling with Brock Lesnar's lazy moveset, you are not going to have a good match. And I think that people were depending on the raw emotion of people wanting to get the title off of Brock to kind of put Roman over, and that didn't exactly work. So now it's kind of like it's back to the drawing board, so to speak, with that. But that was definitely a terrible way to end the show. I mean, if I was at WrestleMania, I would have stayed to watch the whole main event just because I paid a lot of money for that ticket, probably. But if I'm watching this match on a Raw or a SmackDown, I'm probably leaving and going to the parking lot before the match is over with. It's that bad.
I will say this one more thing. The main reason why it's so bad is because it seems like Brock is so so unwilling to do a lot. I mean, it's just that whole lazy factor all over again. Just like you're saying, it's like, okay, well, I'll only take this and maybe this, and that's it. I'm not doing anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that this is a record for Brock's longest match, considering that he only wrestled 62 minutes the entire year when Seth Rollins did 65 in one night. So I think this is his longest match to date.
Absolutely. I was really hoping for a Roman win. Even through all the BS throughout that match, I was really hoping for a Roman win just so we could have the title back on Raw every week. And in my heart, I knew that eventually if Roman Reigns took this title, that somebody else was going to take the title off of Roman Reigns, and it was going to be an instant push for whoever got that title. And it looks like we'll still get it after the Greatest Royal Rumble. But a throwaway, show versus the granddaddy of them all, you got to do better with the booking on that one. You just have to. I don't care whose fault it was, whether it was Vince, Triple H, Stephanie, Shane, Linda, Shane's kids. Whoever booked that needs to be fired.
It was Nicholas. Nicholas booked that match. Nicholas was the one. We blame Nicholas for this one because he's one and done. So let's go ahead and blame Nicholas.
It was me, Austin. It was me all along. Oh my goodness, that match was so trash. It was trash. Trash. As Doc would say, T-A, wait. Trash. Matter of fact,
wait, B-R-O-C-K, trash.
I just hate that Brock is like this now. This is nowhere close. This isn't even a tenth of what Brock used to be in the early 2000s. And I think that's what pisses me off even the most, that he gets this huge contract. He shows up to a couple events a year. He does the same suplexes and F5s, and people let him get away with it. And this is quintessentially the example of robbing a company blind every week he shows up, or doesn't show up for that matter. As a matter of fact, I don't even want to talk about Brock Lesnar anymore. You know what? Let's talk about something better that occurred. So we, of course, everyone who's been keeping up with WWE for the last, I don't know, decade, always knows that Raw after WrestleMania is always one of the best Raws that occurs. This Raw, I wouldn't say that it disappointed, but it wasn't the best post-Raw or post-WrestleMania Raw that I've seen, but we did get a good debut for Ember Moon and a good debut for the Authors of Pain. Ember Moon, of course, showing up to be a surprise tag team partner, for Nia Jax. I think Ember showed good with the short time that she had. Authors of Pain joining the tournament to crown the new Raw Tag Champions, which that tournament will actually continue next week, if I remember correctly. I can't wait to see who's going to be part of that. What do you think that they're going to do? Do you think they're going to let the Authors of Pain win this tournament on their debut?
Well, that would be kind of cool there to let the Authors of Pain win. But then again, you also have the match that happens next week, which is Woken Hardy and Woken Bray versus the Revival, who needs a revival in their careers right now. Because I don't want them to rise like the Ascension did. Insert laugh, but thank you. It was a little late, but okay, thank you. But But maybe the Authors of Pain can take it. But I think that they might run with Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt working together, and they might be the team that's going to go up against the Bar. It's not like Matt Hardy hasn't beaten them before, but this time it's not with Jeff. It'll be with Bray. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do there.
Yeah, that's an interesting tag team. I don't know if people watched Raw this week. That was a very interesting tag team. That was an interesting match to debut in. One of my favorite spots from that match is Apollo Crews doing a flip out of a counter, and Bray Wyatt and Woken Matt stop, and they go wonderful and clap. And the whole arena starts clapping, and Apollo Crews is like, yeah, I am good, and clapping with him. And then all of a sudden, Bray just kicks his head off. Amazing spot on it. I really, really like Apollo Crews too. But this match is just gonna. I mean, this team of Bray Wyatt and Woken Matt. This is going to be a team to watch out for in the future. Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
I completely agree. It's going to be a team that is just wonderful. Don't sue me.
Wonderful. Other than that, I mean, the Raw, I won't spend a whole lot of time on it. Once again, they talked more about Brock and Roman Reigns having their return match. Roman comes out, cuts a promo, not even knowing what character he's wanting to play in this promo. He's saying that, he doesn't know why he's in another match, and he wonders why Brock we got to re-sign, and nobody told him he had to find out on the internet. Pretty much a lot of stuff that wasn't making sense. Samoa Joe comes out there and cuts a promo and just roasts Roman Reigns' whole life in one promo. Overall, I think that it didn't live up to the usual hype of the post-Raw Mania. The post-Mania Raw, but it was okay. With SmackDown, we got another debut with Billy Kay and Peyton Royce.
You missed a return there, sir. On Raw.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm sorry. I forgot the return of Big Bobby Lashley.
Okay, and now we can go on to SmackDown.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. He came back, y'all. Nothing big. So once again, more important information other than Bobby Lashley. Billy Kay and Peyton Royce debut on SmackDown and beat the holy hell out of Charlotte on their first night. And you know what that leads to, Lady Grey? One that leads to
Mella is money. F-A-B-U-L.
Yeah, I messed up.
Oh, you got me laughing so much I couldn't even finish her little. I'm sorry. I'm so used to say F-A-B-O-L-O-U-S, like fabulous, like the rapper. So when I actually have to stop and spell fabulous, I'm up here like, wait, is it O or U? Oh, wait.
And it's funny because I was about to say that. I think we were too much on sync tonight because I was going to say the same thing. Every time I want to sing her introduce when it comes on, I'm like, F-A-B, wait, is it L-O, L-O-U, L-O-U? It's like I never feel more remedial until her music hits. Like, I don't know what it is. Thank you, Fabulous, ruining my life when it comes to spelling.
For years though, we've heard Fabulous, like saying, the rapper. He's always spelled his name out in almost every single song he's ever made. F-A-B-O-L-O-U-S. It just flows. So now when you hear F-A-B-U-L-O-U-S, it's like, wait a sec, is it actually a U there? That's actually a U? It's not an O? So
right, yeah, that doesn't sound right. That's not how you spell it.
That's not right.
Then you look it up, like, well, I guess that's right.
That's right.
So with the debuts that have occurred, with SmackDown, with the debut of Authors of Pain, with the return of Bobby Lashley, with the debut of Ember Moon, where exactly do you see these guys going in the shakeup? Because they debuted, do they stay on their respective shows? Is that how it works? Do they stay on their respective shows even with the Superstar shakeup, or what?
Well, I don't know exactly how the debuts. Oh, we forgot one. No Way Jose. No Way Jose got his call up.
No Way Jose forgot that he got called up this week. He probably showed up to NXT.
No way, Jose. No way, Jose. Okay, it's catchy. It's catchy. I must admit that it's catchy. However, it's going to end up being another Adam Rose. It's party time all the time. I mean, I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but I don't see the No Way Jose character being able to be built upon. It's going to be another Funkadactyls and I can't even remember his name. Wow. The Funkasaurus.
It's because it's not important.
Exactly. That's what's going to happen to No Way Jose. Unless he just comes out completely serious and just like parties after he finished decimating somebody. Otherwise, it's going to be another flash in the pan.
Well, but, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, but I really don't think that the shakeup is going to occur for the people who debuted on said show. I think they're probably going to be on said show and not get shook up already. Unless they take all the women that debuted and put them on SmackDown. And make SmackDown an all-women show, which would be rather interesting. But then I also would have to say, like, okay, well, Nia just won this title and Carmella just won this title. So are we going to make one a TV title, or are they going to have both titles? It's a lot to think about when combining the shows, to say. So I don't think that that's going to happen, making it an all-women show, even though in theory it'd be kind of awesome. But as far as shakeups go, some people I would like to see move. I really think that with Naomi, now I'm going to go ahead and say her first. I think that Naomi could use the move to Raw a lot. I think that with Ember and Naomi, I think that the two of them could have some very, very, very interesting matches. If Naomi starts to become a heel again, I don't know. She did that with Team Bad, but that's just somebody that I think that Ember would have good chemistry with and against would be Naomi. But that's just the first person that popped in my head. So you give me one, and then I'll give you another one.
Okay. So I see there was a report that came out earlier today that possibly the New Day will be splitting up and that they may move them to Raw, or if not all of them, you may see one or two of them move to Raw. So here's what I think that will happen. I think that after this loss of the title, I think Charlotte, being who she is, taking the Money in the Bank loss after WrestleMania on SmackDown, I think you see her come back to Raw. I think eventually we're going to end up seeing a feud between Charlotte and Nia Jax. I think that because we're moving Charlotte to Raw, we have to take a diva and move her. Or I'm sorry, that's disrespectful. I'm sorry. We have to move a women's wrestler from Raw over to SmackDown. And in my opinion, I think that the person that would probably need the move the most is going to end up being as big of a face as Charlotte. So I am personally seeing Bayley move to SmackDown. So this is going to be a move that Bayley needs. I think that we ended up getting all of the matches that we could out of Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Charlotte on Raw. And I think that's why we got the Charlotte move in the first place. Now I think Bayley going to SmackDown opens up a feud for Bayley versus Natalya, Bayley versus Becky Lynch, Bayley versus Naomi, and they can follow up on the feud from the last two that they had on the Women's Battle Royal from WrestleMania. Yeah, that's the move that I think we're gonna go that one. I think with the New Day, I think that we'll see Kofi, and I think we'll see Xavier Woods be moved to Raw, a la the incident with Paige being the new general manager on SmackDown. I think that that's just the smart move to avoid that awkward moment on screen when they get on stage or they get on screen together, and we can knock that out, kill two birds with one stone. I think you see a push with Big E there, and those are my picks from SmackDown. So how about you? What do you see them doing? Do you see them making the same moves, or what moves do you see being made?
I think that Raw will be Rusev Day. I think that Rusev could use possibly the move. If they're not going to give him the push, I could definitely see him, since he's not the U.S. champion, possibly taking back the IC title and give Seth a different feud to go against. I could also possibly see Finn Balor going to SmackDown, as well as the Good Brothers going to SmackDown and making the whole Balor Club. So that way we can get a good feud between Finn and AJ Styles, even though their match that they had recently didn't have any build. It was just a last minute ditch effort to when Bray was out with the measles, and that match was great. I mean, for no build whatsoever, just the match itself was great. So I would like to see Finn be on the same show as AJ. So I definitely could get behind that move right there, that shuffle. As far as the women go, I still kind of want to get a conclusion with Bayley and Sasha. I still want that. So I wouldn't move either of those two. And not only that, but I was looking at an interview on WWE.com, and Sasha doesn't want to leave. As far as I'm concerned, she can leave the company. But
Ouch.
Yeah. I mean, not a Sasha Banks fan, not anymore. I'm not going to talk about it any longer. The way that y'all feel about Roman is the way I feel about Sasha.
Ouch.
I used to love Sasha Banks. I thought that she was great. I bought her boss glasses and everything, and I was flossing, and I was doing the legit boss move back and forth. And then it just got old. Really old. And she became really fake. But they're not going to get rid of her. I really don't want to see her lose her job. I know I was a little bit harsh there, but I don't want to see her on SmackDown. I don't want to see Bayley really go. Maybe this is an opportunity for them to build with another female on Raw. On SmackDown. And I think it's Becky's time. Charlotte could possibly. I still kind of agree with Charlotte going over to Raw, but I think that it's Becky's time to be back in the spotlight because she's kind of gotten knocked into obscurity, or we could see the rise of Ruby Riott again. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting, guys.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So of course, that's just a sample of what we have coming up for the shakeup. I think that we're going to see a title switch as well. I imagine, like you said, you were imagining Seth Rollins going to SmackDown. I think that they may swap mid-card champions. And this is just my personal prediction here, but I think that you'll see Seth go as the Intercontinental Champion to Raw on Tuesday next week. And I think that you will see Jinder Mahal come to Raw on Monday of next week. The only reason that I see this happening is because I think that Jinder Mahal is one of those guys just because of who he is, and the character is going to draw a lot of natural heat. And I think when Brock Lesnar leaves, which Brock Lesnar isn't necessarily a heel, but I think that Raw is going to need a monstrous heel that can play the tweener role between the mid-card and the main event. And I think that they need somebody that's a different heel than The Miz, so to speak.
You got Joe for that reason, because Joe is in the 4-way at the greatest WrestleMania or greatest Royal Rumble, in Saudi Arabia. So I'm wondering if they might do a little bit more with Joe being more of a guy for that top spot, that top heel spot. Because I see great things from Samoa Joe, and just that promo that he cut on Roman alone is push enough.
And see, the promo that he cut on Roman Reigns is why I didn't mention him as a Monster Heel as of yet, because I think that they see Samoa Joe as somebody who's a bit of a tweener, so to speak. And I think that his character has been built to be that tweener. As when he first came out, he says that he's not, a prize fighter. He says that he has clients and he doesn't take it personal. So I don't think that you see anything personal with Joe. It doesn't become a thing outside of the feud with Roman Reigns with anybody. I think that you're going to see him be a tweener role. He'll be face in some matchups, and I think you'll see him as a heel in some matchups. But overall, I think that if Jinder does come as a mid-card champion, of course, I think Samoa Joe holds down the spot in the main event picture as a heel. But I think that Jinder Mahal is one of the guys that can be the heel in both the mid-card and or the main event picture if you have him over there. And I think that's somebody that you need. The same with The Miz. I mean, The Miz, I think that it's that good heel in the main card or in the main event picture. But The Miz heat is a little bit different from Jinder Mahal's heat. Like The Miz's heat is heat, but it's sort of like people are now starting to respect his talking ability, and it draws away from some of his natural heat. And I think that people are just going to boo Jinder Mahal just off of the pure respect of Jinder if he was to go to Raw.
People will boo Jinder Mahal just because it's Jinder Mahal, because he's boo worthy.
And I think that's why I like him so much. And I'm just the anti-guy when it comes to certain people. Like, people hate Jinder Mahal so much, and they talk about how much he was a jobber before. I think that's what really makes me like him, because he took his character, he took it to the next level, he drew success from it, and people still had that natural boo, that natural hate for him, and he just basks in it. And I think that the modern day Maharaja is definitely a character that deserves some spotlight, whether he's on Raw or SmackDown.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that he is bad at all. I really like the fact that he reinvented himself, reimagined himself, and came back as this massive heel. He does it very, very well. And not to mention, you even got your own personal ragdoll that comes along with you. Sorry, I did not mean that in a disrespectful way. I did not mean that. I didn't think about it as it came out. That sounded really, really bad. Now I apologize.
He's a ragdoll. That's what he's good for. Sonera's coming out there to get thrown into a table, over a table, into the crowd, get bounced around like the beach ball during a match, they want to do that. I mean, that's what he's there for. He's there to introduce Jinder Mahal, and he needs to get beat up.
I probably shouldn't have said the word ragdoll. That's what I was saying. I kind of caught myself there in a little bit of a controversy that I did not want to step foot in, and I mean no disrespect by saying ragdoll. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. I figured deal you. But all in all, I mean, I really can't wait to see exactly what's going to happen with the shakeup. The shakeups are always good. They always spark a lot of debate on where they're going to go storyline-wise when we see these shakeups happen initially. So with that being said, we're definitely going to follow up with another show next Thursday. Make sure that everybody who's listening to the show now, make sure you guys tune in next Thursday for a recap of the shakeup, and we're going to do some storylines that we think that are going to happen after the shakeup, title moves. It's going to be a good show. With that being said, I'm just going to leave you guys with my final thought, and then I'll pass it over to the Lady Great One to give her final thought as well. Recently, as we were doing this podcast, I saw that former WWE champion CM Punk is making his return to the Octagon on June 9th. Saturday, June 9th, he is going to fight Mike the Truth Jackson in his second fight. I was never a big fan of CM Punk going to UFC. But I think that he got his lumps in the first match, and I definitely am wishing for a win in the second match for him. No matter what I think of really some of his fans, I think that he deserves to have success just like everyone else. So props CM Punk. I hope you do well. Knock him dead out there, not literally.
Well, to end my final thought, there has been a question that's kind of floating around here. Will we see a return of Daniel Bryan and Miz feud? Because that feud has never truly died. It just simmered. And now that Daniel Bryan's back in action, we shall see with this impending shakeup, because Daniel Bryan is a full-fledged superstar now, so he can definitely be shaken up as well. And one more thing before I end it all. A lot of speculation about Conor McGregor. Will he follow Ronda Rousey's suit and join the WWE? As much trash talking and everything that he does, if he can get a lot of more wrestling down and not be just pure striker, that would possibly be an option there. And last but not least, I wanted to end up with the racist comments. We, as a whole, we are one race. We are the human race. We do not need to bash Naomi or any other superstar of any color, shade, creed, whatever. That's why I got so apologetic when I called Sneer a ragdoll. I did not mean it in any disrespectful way. Racist comments, they need to stop, people. It really, really does need to stop. We're all the human race, and that's the only race that matters. And that's my final thought.
And I'm truly with it. Stop the hate, everybody. And that's going to wrap it up for Marking Out Amongst Friends this week. Once again, definitely follow up next week with us. We'll be on the same time, 8 p.m. next Thursday. Give us a listen. We're on iTunes. We're on Google Play. We're on YouTube. If you ever just interested in joining a group for a lot of great discussions, follow the Game Runners out there. A lot of different topics popping off in the group right now since WrestleMania. We also got a tournament we're about to start for the Greatest Wrestlers tournament. So come in, give a vote, give a comment, and participate there. And that's all we have for you this week. This is Marking Out Amongst Friends, out.